point from your district. Domain 8 deals with aligning instruction, analyzing your tax data, using appropriate sequence, appropriate materials, monitoring student performance as well as attendance, students in at-risk situations, appropriate plans for intervention, and modifying and adapting any materials that you have so that each student can be successful. As you look at Domain 8, it's important to remember that Domain 8 ties in directly with Domains 1, 2, and 3, and is also tied to the specific answers that you give in Section 2 of your teacher self-report. So taking an opportunity to really give good examples of what's taking place in your classroom will help your administrator to complete this particular domain on your evaluation. Keep in mind also that if you are a returning teacher, you have points tied directly to your accountability ratings and your AYP ratings into your appraisal document. If you were an exemplary campus, you'll receive 4 points. If you were recognized, you receive 2. If you were academically acceptable, you receive 1 point. And if you were academically unacceptable, you will receive 0 points. If you met AYP, you get 1 point. And if you missed AYP, you will get 0 points. Then you score all of those things together to come up with your final total for Domain 8. Each domain is scored separately, so it's important to keep that in mind, as well as knowing what the score point ranges are going to be in order for you to either be exceeds expectations, proficient, below expectations, or be labeled as an unsatisfactory teacher. Keep in mind that you will be required to do an intervention plan if it's determined that you were unsatisfactory in any of the domains, or if you scored below expectations in 2 or more of the domains. This teacher in need of assistance plan will be developed by you as well as by the administrators or appraisers that are involved in your evaluation. This TINA, as it is sometimes called, will require you to go through and do different things. Different pieces of documentation will have to be provided. And at the end, in your summative conference, a determination will be made as to whether or not you met the criteria and met the guidelines that were established for you. An example of this might include if I were having trouble with professional communication. I didn't speak with respect or courtesy to any of the students, and it had been noted by my administrator, by parents who were visiting the campus, as well as by some of the teachers who teach beside me and listen to the tone that I used with my students. I could be cited for Domain 5, the professional communication. And some of the things that I might be asked to do would be to go to workshops that deal with self-esteem for students. I could be asked to attend an anger management class. I could be asked to read through different books and different periodicals on how I could work with students more effectively. Or I could be asked to go and observe other teachers who have some of the same students, yet are able to deal with them in a more effective and acceptable method. After I've completed all of those things, I would be asked to turn in logs that show that I did attend and watch other teachers and what I saw that was effective that I could possibly implement within my classroom. Might be asked to turn in the certificate for my anger management class, or there could be several other pieces of documentation that I am asked to do. Specific timelines will be established, and I will sign that intervention plan at the time it is developed. One thing you'll notice about the wording is it's very similar to when you get a traffic ticket. It's not that you're signing that you agree with what is taking place necessarily, but you are signing that you did receive a copy of it. Again, at the end, you will determine if you met the criteria, did not meet the criteria, and if you didn't, you will be asked to state reasons why you did not complete all of the things that were specified for you. The other thing to keep in mind is if you are on a growth plan, you want to make sure that you maintain your documentation and that you're able to comply with all of the things that you have developed along with the team of administrators and appraisers. Let's talk for a second about the whole continuous improvement process. Part of improving, whether you're on a growth plan or you're just working alone and making sure that you're helping to meet the campus improvement plan objectives as well as the district plan objectives, is within your own classroom, taking time to look at needs assessment information. Take some time to look at your students each 6 weeks to see how they're doing in the classroom. What is your failure rate? What's the attendance like within your classroom? And what are some things that you could do differently to make sure that those things are going to be corrected or fixed or improved throughout the duration of this year? Once you've done that, you establish some goals and objectives that you'll be able to do that also tie into your campus plan, as well as those goals and objectives that have been established for your district. Once you've done that, you're going to choose some strategies and activities that are effective for you as well as effective for your students. The strategies and activities that you use will need to be evaluated both on a formative level and a summative level. But first you need to think about the implementation of each of those strategies. Who might you get to help you with some of those things? Are there additional materials that you're going to need? And what can be done? Could perhaps you use federal funds, some of the title money to accomplish some of those? All great things to talk to your administrators about. Professional development and sustained support is some of the things that you've been doing throughout the beginning of this school year, no doubt, as well as hopefully over the summer, just taking some opportunities for yourself, but to also figure out how you can grow professionally and how that can impact your students in a positive way in the classroom. The formative evaluations that you do are all those things that you're evaluating, the steps that you're taking throughout the year to make sure that at the end of the school year your students are promoting to the next grade and are performing successfully on any